Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's amazing session. We are live, and I can see that some people have started trickling in. For all those of you who have joined us on this wonderful Wednesday, it would be great if you can let me know in the chat option which city are you logging in from. This will help us get an understanding about where exactly are you logging in from, and also serve as an audio test. So, to all the 148 and counting, all of you who've joined the session, quick hi from us at Seed and everyone here. If you could just let us know in the chat option which city you are dialing in from, this will serve as a mic check on my behalf also to let me know which city are you dialing in from. So yeah, I'm going to wait for a bit and wait for the responses to quickly come in. And we are very excited to host this session. We're coming live all the way from California. So everyone who's California dreaming, this is your opportunity to know more about the programs offered by LMU. So I can see quite a good number. I'm going to wait for a little bit more, wait for more of you to sort of come in before we get started on the session here today. All right. Okay. I am getting your messages and I'm going to quickly check on that. Hello. So I see someone from Accra who's come in, someone from Ghana. So Kolkata. Wow. Everyone from the length and breadth of the country. Anyone else who's come from Mumbai, Kumasi, Pune. Hello, everyone. And thank you so much for joining us. We have around 208 people and counting as we go. So without further ado, I think I'm going to start by running the first poll question for the evening. Stay tuned, everyone, and feel free. I request all of you to please drop in your answers to the poll questions. I'm going to quickly run the first poll for the evening, which is now on your screen in front of you. So in your opinion, which STEM field shows the most potential for international graduate students in terms of job opportunities within California's evolving job market? Your options are computer science and AI, biotechnology and pharmaceuticals, renewable energy and environmental science, aerospace and engineering, data science and analytics. So all of you who've tuned in, if you could have a look at the poll question, which might have popped up on your screen, and choose one option and let us know which STEM field, according to you, shows the most potential for international graduate students in terms of job opportunity within California's evolving job market currently. So I'm going to wait for this poll question to stay on your screens for a little bit, wait for all of you to put in your choices there so we know exactly. We all know that you are California dreaming, but I want to also know which program is it that you're particularly California dreaming for. And of course, then I'm going to quickly move on to the next bit. So if all of the members in the audience could quickly vote the first poll question, which is up on your screen about the STEM fields. So if you could quickly just put in your answer and we would run the poll shortly. I can see a lot more of you who are streaming in, and it's great to have you all here on this wonderful Wednesday. If you could just vote for that. So I'm going to wait for a little bit more time before I announce the results for today's poll question. Okay, so I think another few seconds before I run the polls for this evening. The first poll, we will be having another one, but at a later stage. Let's see what we have with this one here for now. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to be putting out the results for everyone to see. Great. We have computer science and AI, which is leading by 63%, closely followed by biotechnology and pharmaceuticals, renewable energy, aerospace engineering, and then data science and analytics. So yeah, computer science and AI, that is what is on everyone's mind for this evening. Thank you so much, all of you who have voted. So without further ado, I am going to quickly jump into what exactly are we going to be talking about. I'm going to start with a quick round of introductions. My name is Sabahat Kurzuk. I'm the Senior Client Success Manager with Seed Global Education. We are a UK headquartered company which facilitates interaction between top global universities like the one that we have with us today and prospective students like yourself, giving you a chance to connect with the faculty get an understanding of what are the different programs which are offered by these universities to help you make informed decisions about your higher education and career plans. I am joined with me on this wonderful Wednesday by Dr. Audra Verrier, who is the Associate Vice Provost of Career and Professional Development at Loyola Marymount University, LMU. Thank you so much for joining us, Doctor.
Thank you.
So she has coached and advised thousands of students and professionals to pursue their passions, create careers that they love, and complete degree programs while developing themselves as active citizens. She is a facilitator and educator on topics such as strategic planning and organizational development in the nonprofit sector, the psychology of leadership, system thinking, professional development, entrepreneur skills for leaders in education. And we have a very, very interesting topic which she is going to be talking about today, which is top careers for engineering graduates in California, in which she will be talking about the career opportunities which are available for graduates in California, LMU's beautiful and convenient location near Silicon Beach, and the impact of the AI revolution in the Californian career context. She is also joined with Dr. Amar Dalal, who is the Assistant Vice Provost for Graduate Enrollment. Hello, Dr. Dalal.
Hello, Savad. Hello, everyone, and a very happy belated Independence Day from here.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So Dr. Dalal brings over 16 years of enrollment management experience, leading admissions, recruitment, marketing, financial aid, and experience, and is also a key member of LMU's enrollment management team. So thank you both of us for joining us. Without further ado, I would now like to hand over to Dr. Verrier, if you could get started with your presentation.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Let me share my slides here and make sure you can see them. All good? Great. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Good evening, everyone. I'm really excited to share more with you today about top careers for engineering grads in California. Some of you may know that California is #1 in many categories for computer science and engineering, and I'll share a little bit more about those stats in a little bit. We have engineers in, my slides are going a little slow. There they go. Okay. So as many of you indicated, you're interested in computer science and AI. We have software engineers, data analysts and scientists, engineers in the biomedical space, aerospace, automotive, and renewable energy fields. And that's just to name a few of the top fields and industries. And I'll share more about this data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics so you can see and research yourself which areas are really booming, which are growing, et cetera. There's a lot of information right at your fingertips. Certain emerging trends in the market that are impacting us. As you all know, AI is growing and expanding rapidly. So you're probably already familiar with things like large language models, deep learning, and machine learning. These things will continue to evolve over the next years, and quite rapidly they're evolving right now. There's the evolution of AI is really being tracked in our region by a group called AILA. And you can find all of their information and videos and events have been recorded, and they're all available on YouTube. I've been on a couple of panels, and I'll be hosting another panel coming up in a few weeks. But there's a lot of conversation right now about AI, in particular in business and education, and the ethics around it. So not only do we need engineers that are ready to support the movement of artificial intelligence, but AI is really going to be a part of every career, every profession. It's something that is a skill set we will all need. And we will need people that teach others how to do that, in addition to building future AI models that can be used. We've already mentioned that we're right in the heart of Silicon Beach. Loyola Marymount is in a hub of that evolution that's happening. So we're right on the cusp of the area called Playa Vista. Silicon Beach goes a little further than this area on the map, but this is just a fun visual for you to see some of the region. And then if we go to our website at LMU, you can also see how close we are in proximity to that area. You can still see this, yes, Amar?
It is taking a while to load, but I think the website itself will be helpful.
Okay, great. So that area of Playa Vista is here on the map, as you can see, and then our main campus is up here on what is called the Bluff. The little blue boxes here show you the shuttle. And so our shuttle actually brings you all the way down into Silicon Beach and to our Playa Vista campus, which is close to Google, YouTube, Meta offices. Right across the street is WeWork, which includes many other companies like Pinterest. So we have quite a variety of companies that are available to our students. And let me see if I can get back to my other slide here. Sorry, it's covered up by this box. Okay, here we go. So it's really at the heart of an area of growth and innovation and creativity, and that's only going to continue to grow. There are more and more companies that want to be in this area. And of course, our companies are all over California. Many of the companies I mentioned and others have multiple locations. Students can also go to Silicon Valley for internships or jobs post-graduation. Here's some of the top jobs for engineering grads in California, and we're going to go into some of the companies that students find jobs at, grads find jobs at. In addition to software engineering and artificial intelligence, engineers can go into a variety of industries. All of these industries also have, software engineers can work in manufacturing, manufacturing engineers can work in software. There's a lot of cross development in terms of what you can do and how you can apply the skills. And there's emerging fields as well. And I'll share a couple of our alums with you doing. Electrical engineering, civil engineering also is something really big in our state. We have, and I'll share some of the companies later on, but there's a lot of movement towards green energy, and that is only going to continue to grow, and the pressure on that politically will continue to grow. We're also in a hub for aerospace engineering with many companies that you'll recognize right nearby in El Segundo and other local areas of the LA region. And then biomedical is all across the state. Some of those major companies, Keysight, Medtronic, things like that, that create products that are used in the biomedical fields are in Northern California. And then many environmental engineers work in our state. And of course, data science and data engineering, data analysts are all very prevalent in all of these fields. So to share some of the companies that are represented in hiring our students, both for internships and full-time positions post-graduation, you might recognize some of these in the aerospace field. We have aerospace and systems engineers that go on to work with companies like Boeing, Northrop Grumman, NASA, and Raytheon. Northrop Grumman and Raytheon are two of the, we have the most number of graduates that work there, groups of 100+ alumni that work with these companies. In computer science and software engineering, all of the major companies our alumni work at, and many other smaller companies with names you may not recognize right away, but that are growing and expanding, small companies that support and work and consult or contract with these other larger companies. So even if you don't find a position at Meta, because everybody in the world wants to work at Meta, there are other companies that contract with Meta or other companies that are working with their products. Our electrical and industrial engineers, as well as some others, are working at companies like Tesla. This is a company that really crosses industries between automotive and also renewable energy. Tesla is not only working on the cars that they create, but the batteries that people put in their homes. Those batteries can be powered by solar energy. And then they can provide energy for the home as well as the vehicle. So there's a lot going on in terms of the renewable energy industry that crosses into how we will live life in the future. And if you're in Southern California, you don't have to go very far before you see 5 Teslas. So we know the cars are there. They're going to continue to be there. There's a growing trend of people across the nation wanting to buy a Tesla vehicle, but the batteries in the homes and the solar that provides energy for them are just as important and crucial for the renewable energy fields going forward. And SpaceX is another great aerospace company that's in our local region, and they're doing a lot of amazing things, not just aerospace, but all different types of technologies. Many companies like that are in a variety of spaces. Boeing, Northrop Grumman, et cetera, are also in a variety of spaces, not just air travel, but technologies that will fuel the future. Mechanical and civil engineering, this is something that is generally working with cities, counties, states, governance, working with the infrastructure that's created that we all live and work within. Biomedical, I mentioned Medtronic earlier, but companies like Philips and also Johnson & Johnson, many engineers go on to work with companies like that to support the development of medications and tools and the equipment that is used to diagnose and help cure and solve ills and pains that people are experiencing in the world. Environmental engineers work for the state of California in a variety of departments, in addition to PG&E and SoCalGas. There's a variety of different companies that contract with each other and with the state entities. And so environmental engineering can go in a lot of different directions. And again, there are many companies that you can work with that are going to be supporting the development of infrastructure within our local region. And then all across the world as well. For data science, you can go to any of those companies that I mentioned in the beginning that software engineers are working with, but also a wide variety of other industries. So Netflix represents the entertainment industry. Data is everywhere. It's in all of our schools and education institutions, all of our businesses. Experian represents the finance industry. Tracking information about credit scores and available credit, and Rand Corporation. So these all they all are referring to a wide variety of industry types and business types. But data science is continuing to grow and evolve and is not going anywhere as well. And the connection between data science and AI will continue to evolve and grow in all of these industries. A couple of our LMU engineering alumni that I wanted to highlight here, working with companies like LA Drones and JP Morgan Chase. So you might not initially think of software engineering being at a company like JP Morgan. So that's why I brought Mansi into the picture here to share that, even if you come for a degree in computer science, that degree is relevant in a wide variety of industries. And then we have Deepak, who's in more of an emerging type of position or role with LA Drones. So there's a lot of exciting things going on in Southern California and in California as a whole. I'm going to switch over quickly to some other websites to share some other information with you. One that I shared earlier is the Bureau of Labor Statistics. And I'm happy to share the slides that I'm presenting today. You can always be in touch with me via email or on LinkedIn. The Bureau of Labor Statistics shows information about all of these different job types and industries that I've shared. So just to click into one, you can see the data on each job, what the outlook for that job is, the wages that you might make, or the annual wage or mean salary. And then you can also see, if you continue on down the page, where these jobs are most prevalent. And in most cases, you're going to see that California is in the top 1 or 2 of highest employment level. So for computer systems analysts, California is number 1. And I'll just go through and show you a couple of other examples from the engineering category, aerospace engineering. So you're looking at the types of salaries that you are average for that industry and the types of jobs. And then again, California is #1 for aerospace engineering. So this is a really detailed database, and the Bureau of Labor Statistics tracks all of that information for you. And this is all on a public website. I'm going to hop over to our careers.lmu.edu website so you can know a little bit more about the area that I oversee. We have a team of professionals that are here to support all of our students in their professional journeys. And students from all different backgrounds and walks of life come to LMU and are supported here to find that next meaningful step and destination for themselves. And that can look a lot of different ways for different people, but we do have resources here for our international students, and we have advisors that are especially excited to support our international students. We have a variety of peer advisors and graduate assistants that work in our office. So if you were to consider being a student at LMU, you also have the opportunity to come and work with us in the career and professional development space, learning and growing, but also supporting other students. On our site here under international students, you'll see resources on curricular practical training from our Office of International Students and Scholars. And that will give you information about how you can work and have credit for that work while you're here as an international student. And then they also provide information about optional practical training after you graduate. There are also many resources that we provide to students that are professional development platforms. So you can view all of those here. Handshake is one that provides job and internship information for students, postings. Also, all of our events will be hosted there. In addition, we have Big Interview, which prepares you through practice mock interviewing, our resume platform through VMock. The Pride is an international network of our alumni through a platform called People Grove. We've also added some other resources that have not been updated on the site yet, but things like LinkedIn Learning. So you have additional learning opportunities at your fingertips. So if you wanted to gain an additional skill, let's say, or a certificate in addition to your degree while you're here, you have access to that while you're a student. And then for a little bit more data, if you're interested in learning the outcomes of our students, this outcomes.lmu.edu page, you can go to Seaver College, which would be most of the degrees, not all of them, that we're speaking about today, and then graduating information from our previous classes about where those students go. So Seaver College of Science and Engineering, you can see a lot of students go on to grad school. Some of you might be interested in coming on in that master's level degree program, and you would be sort of that next destination. Where do you go after an undergraduate and graduate degree? And we also have that data coming out very soon on our public website. If you'd like to learn more about that, I can share it personally. All right, and that is the majority of the content that I have. And I think I'm switching over to Dr. Dalal now.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Verrier. That was very, very informative. And I'm sure everyone enjoyed the session and got to learn so much more about LMU and the Silicon Valley. So before we move to Dr. Dalal, I'm going to be taking my second poll question for the evening. Considering how everyone's heard about the close proximity of LMU to Meta, Google, Pinterest, etc., here's my second question for everyone in the audience. According to you, how important is the proximity of your educational institute to industry hubs like Silicon Valley in determining your career prospects? So is it something which is extremely important, moderately important, slightly important, or not so important? So to repeat my question, according to you, how important is the proximity of your educational institute to industry hubs like the ones in Silicon Valley, which will help you in determining your career prospects? So the second poll is on your screen. If all of you could quickly just put in your answers, pick up the choice which you feel is most relevant, we should, get an understanding of where the thought process is coming from. So to everyone in the audience, the second poll question is on your screen. Let's pick one which you feel is most important. We will be ending that poll question very shortly before I hand over to Dr. Dalal, who will speak about the programs that LMU has to offer and much more. So if everyone in the audience can quickly answer the poll questions, we can move on to the second interesting bit of the session for this lovely Wednesday. So I will end the poll question shortly. Right, so we've ended it. And according to 56% of you, it is extremely important. So close proximity is something which is on everyone else's mind. 34% said moderately important. Thank you so much for everyone who's voted. Dr. Verrier, I'm going to request you to stick around till the end where we will be taking up questions from the audience. Thank you so much. Dr. Dalal, over to you. I'm sure the audience is very excited to hear about all the exciting programs that LMU has to offer.
Yeah, well, thank you. Thank you so much. And I think your poll question is a perfect segue because in her presentation, Dr. Verrier did highlight our position there. And I'm here to enforce that, in addition to talk to you about all the various pathways you have as a graduate degree seeking student. So I'll go ahead and screen share here and hopefully I will do it correctly. I usually do. All right, can everyone see my screen? Perfect. Okay,
yes,
so
we can.
What I would like to do is spend the next few minutes introducing LMU to you. Many of you may have heard about us, some of you may not have. But I'll spend the first few minutes talking to you about LMU and what the LMU experience really is. And then I'll share with you a little bit more about our programs. I'll tell you a little bit about some of the projects that students have been working, some of the research interests of our faculty, and how that will really align with your future goals. And I've seen some of the questions pop up in the Q&A, so I'll do my best to try to answer them as I go along, but hopefully we'll have enough time left to answer some of your most pressing questions. So let's go. And so at LMU, we live by this code called creating the world we want to live in. And really the goal of this is to not just enjoy the world that we live in, but work hard, integrate with the local community, with the global community, with any community that we work with, in just trying to bring change, trying to bring about the kind of world that we would all want to be in. So our students are not just passive learners, they're active learners. They're actively involved in the community, in their industries. Wherever it is that they're making an impact, they are making an impact by being active participants. LMU was founded over 100 years ago. We were founded in 1911. And as already been said a few times, we are located in Los Angeles. We are a private university. We're also designated as an R2 institution, a high research activity university by the Carnegie classification. And really what that means is we're in the top tier of institutions that have credible master's degree programs and invest a lot of resources in ensuring that we're forwarding research in everything that we teach in. So as I'll show you later on, our faculty have various research interests, and as an institution, we're heavily invested and committed to ensuring that that research moves forward. And that has a direct impact on your education here at LMU. We offer over 50 programs in graduate education. They are spread out around our 7 colleges and schools in various disciplines, including liberal arts, business administration, communication and fine arts, film and television, education, law, and then of course, science and engineering, which has been the focus of our presentation today. I want to also share with you our mission. So we are what you would call a Jesuit institution. We are one of 27 Jesuit institutions in the United States, in addition to hundreds and thousands of institutions all across the world, and especially in India, as well as in Africa, which is where many of you are from here today. I want to share with you our mission because it really serves to inform how we go about helping our students learn and achieve their goals and aspirations, and how they go about and make an impact in the community. So there are 3 aspects to our mission that are important to note. The first is encouragement of learning. And what that really means is we push our students to learn not just within the comforts of the classroom or be it online or in person, right? But we are pushing our students to really go into uncomfortable areas where we know growth happens, where we know learning happens. And really what that translates into is you have faculty that work with you throughout your time here and make sure that you are learning beyond what is just the curriculum. We believe in education of the whole person, so we're concerned about not just what you learn and what you graduate with, and obviously we want you to graduate with a degree, we want you to go out and be successful in the community, but we also want to make sure that you are ready as a whole person to be able to integrate back into the community and be an active part of the community, which goes back to what I said initially, creating the world we want to live in. The final portion of our mission is service of faith and promotion of justice. So we are a Jesuit Catholic institution, but you do not need to be either of those. You do not need to have any faith at all to be able to attend LMU. In fact, we have a rich diversity of all walks of life, all religions, all ethnicities represented at LMU. We're very, very, very proud of it. And what this really means in terms of our mission is that our students are engaged on building wealth, being profitable in businesses where they work at, in innovating in various engineering and STEM fields. But they're also thinking about the community. They're also thinking about how it impacts society. And just as a quick example, we're all using AI today, but there is a considerable amount of stress and unknowns around AI and how that'll impact human life. And I'm sure if you're reading the news sort of varies from, well, this is the greatest thing ever to God knows what will happen with humanity, right? So we not only need people who can develop AI, but also develop it with a conscience. And that's what our students do. A little bit about our numbers. So we are ranked in the top 100 universities by the US News and World Report and also by the Wall Street Journal, Times Higher Education. And so we are in the top institutions in the United States. And what that really means is you have access to various opportunities, some of which Audra just described, given our reputation and standing. And we have access to all companies, all the various industry leaders that you would need to get in touch with in order to get the kind of jobs that you're hoping to get. In addition, it also speaks to our quality of our education as well. So we're very, very proud of that. Those of you that are interested in computer science and perhaps computer engineering will note that we have a top 10 science lab facility according to the Princeton Review, and we are very excited and proud to share that with those of you that decide to join us. In terms of enrollment, we are what you would call a mid-sized institution, so we're not very large and we're not very small. And I believe that's the perfect sweet spot for anyone that wants to get everything they want out of their education, have access to opportunities, have access to a robust alumni network, have access to industry leaders, but also have the personal touch when you're in the classroom. Our faculty get to know our students very well. And this sort of goes back to what I said with our mission is our faculty are here to push you, and our small class sizes really help with that. So all in all, we have about 10,000 students. 70% or more are undergraduate students, and the other approximately 30% are graduate students as well as law school students. We have a very well-representative international community of 10% or more. So more than 1,000 students come from about 90 countries across the world. And those of you that are from India will be happy to note that India is our top 2 countries that are represented, along with China. And then moving down, we have quite a few countries from the Middle East, which also bring in a lot of Indian students as well. So we have an excellent representation of a variety of students on campus. I know we've talked about location, but I really wanted to drive the point about our location relative to everything that LA has to offer. So I have this map for you here that in the green is our campus, and you'll note that we're about 1 kilometer away from the beach. That is one of the most underrated parts of our location. Obviously, as a student, that is one of the more fulfilling experiences among everything you get in the classroom. But I also want to note that we are very close to Los Angeles International Airport, LAX, as we like to call it. And so students really enjoy the fact that they can come in and take a quick 5 to 7 minute ride. And those of you that live in certain parts of India, I'm from Mumbai, I totally understand how long it takes to get from one place to another. But that is sort of one of the underrated things. We've talked about many locations around LA that are accessible to our students, but I want to point out that Hollywood is about 20 to 25 minutes away from us. I also want to point out that the Santa Monica Pier is very close to us. I also want to point out that Disneyland is about 30 to 35 minutes away from us. So you have access to a variety of different things. But I think the most and the best part about LMU is our location in Silicon Beach, which I know Dr. Verrier has talked about a lot. And we've discussed proximity to Silicon Valley, but in this case, Silicon Beach. I too want to share the number of employers that we work with. This is by no means an extensive list. And given that Audra has already talked a lot about these employers, I do want to emphasize that while a lot of our students do decide to join some of the well-recognized employers, tech companies, aerospace companies, other engineering firms, the reality is that we also have a budding startup place in Silicon Valley. We're seeing a lot of startups come up, and our students are actively taking part in those. So it's not just about the big companies. There are several smaller companies that you could find yourself working with if it's something that you're really interested in. So let's talk about some of our programs. We have in total 9 STEM designated programs. 6 of those are in our Seaver College of Science and Engineering. So I know we talked earlier about all the various focus areas that might be of interest to you. Here are our first 3 programs I'd like to share with you. The first one is an MS in Computer Science. And you'll note that with most of our programs, you have the ability to cross-train in many areas. And that's kind of how the industry is working. Recall the example of the computer science student that's working with Netflix, right? I mean, that is the kind of thing that we're seeing now is the skills that you develop in your time here will help you place in any industry, not necessarily just the industry that the discipline is placed in. So the MS in Computer Science offers 2 focus areas. We also have a newly launched computer engineering program which just started this fall. We'll welcome our first group of students here in about a week and a half. And then we have a Master of Science in Engineering in Electrical Engineering. And as you can see, there are a variety of focus areas that you can work on. I'd like to note that most of our programs are 2 years in length. That's approximately how long they take. It's 10 courses, which amounts to 30 units. We also have programs in civil engineering, and within civil engineering, you can focus on climate change solutions, which I know is a big deal for us right now, given how the climate has been in various places across the globe. Someone had mentioned, working in, I guess, in the marine sciences, and there is an ability for you to focus on certain specializations that we'll get in that area as well. So we broadly covered that in our civil engineering program, as well as in our environmental science program. So if water resources, water quality management, wastewater treatment is something that you're interested in learning more about, those certainly are options here at LMU. And then we also finally have a mechanical engineering master's program with an additive manufacturing focus area. So this is a very high level overview. Later on in the presentation, and really after this presentation, we're happy to connect with you to discuss your interest in more detail and share more about the courses, the curriculum that you can indulge in should you choose to apply to LMU. We also have 3 programs in our College of Business Administration. The first one is a Master's of Science in Accounting. The second one is in taxation and taxation law. And then the third one is a Master of Science in Business Analytics, which is probably of interest to most of you. This program attracts a lot of international students and specifically a lot of students from India. I want to share with you in a couple of slides some of the capstone projects that our students have done, but they've been highly, highly impressive. So this is a sampling of our research interests of our faculty, and this is specifically for faculty in the computer science program and the computer engineering program. The reason I share this with you is so you get a broader sense of all the variety of topics and focus areas that we offer, right? And our program is highly customizable in the sense that you can hone in on a certain area or maybe in a certain 2 or 3 areas that you really want to specialize in. So obviously, in today's day and age, AI is pretty big, but there are also other areas to consider as well. And the interdisciplinary nature of our program really allows for you to sort of tweak your interest based on what it is that you're hoping to gain at the end of completing the program. A little bit about our capstone project. So I did mention that our business analytics students work directly with employers within the area to conduct a research capstone project. And here's a sampling of some of those. I think most of you will recognize Fandango. And in this case, our students had worked with Fandango to conduct an analysis of the data they had really after COVID-19, or in the immediate sort of aftermath of COVID-19, analyzing, theater occupancy. And at that time, people were still a bit reluctant to attend the movie theaters, at least here in the United States. And so they work closely with Fandango to really provide insights for decision-making in all areas: marketing, pricing, operational decisions. Qdoba is a very popular Mexican chain restaurant here, and our students work closely with them to look at how they're setting up their management teams, how are they testing products. The company just underwent a whole sort of brand change, and so they work closely with the employer on that. And then the Children's Hospital of Los Angeles is a very popular Los Angeles hospital in here. And our students worked with them to look at staffing levels. And I share these examples with you, again, just as a sampling. You can work with a variety of different institutions, organizations to solve problems. It doesn't necessarily need to be in one or two areas. Even with your STEM designated degrees, you can be an asset to a hospital system, either here in the United States, or if you choose to go back to India, Africa, etc., you can use those skills to really make an impact there. Okay, I really want to leave time for questions. So let's get to the most pressing part. I'm sure most of you are wanting to know what our tuition costs are and scholarships are. So our science and engineering programs and our business master's programs, they're both, as I mentioned earlier, 30 credits. They take about 2 years to complete. Our cost per unit for each of those programs is up here. And both engineering and master's programs cost somewhere between $46,000 and $48,000 for total tuition. Now, that estimate does not include some small fees that we have, and then the cost of books and living expenses. We'd be certainly happy to discuss what that total cost would look like for you at a later time. We can work with you individually to do so. But hopefully this gives you a sense of where our tuition is at. And we're very competitive with all of our peers within California and outside. We also have graduate scholarship opportunities in the form of graduate assistantships and research assistantships. Those are given out by individual departments, and the amount really varies. In some cases, I've seen it be a few $1,000s, and in other cases, it goes up to a little bit more than that. And the same is true with our merit-based scholarships. So each of our programs have certain scholarships that they're able to give. And those decisions are made at the time of admission. There's no separate application that you need to fill out. You typically get an acceptance decision and a scholarship notification at the time of admission. All right, so our admission requirements are as follows. First and foremost, we need an application. And I know a couple of you have asked about an application fee waiver. So here it is. SEED, SEED. If you put that in there, you will get a $50 application fee waiver. We require a completed application, a bachelor's degree, generally a 3.0 or higher GPA. If it is lower than that, we can consider certain extenuating circumstances, and I'd certainly encourage you to work with our representatives to make sure that we can address that as needed. The other documents are fairly standard with what you need to apply for a graduate program, which includes a resume, so highlighting your current work experience and any particularly relevant experience you have to the discipline that you're selecting. A personal statement, and the statement prompts vary by program. So each of our programs ask a slightly different personal statement, but most of them focus on you telling us a little bit about yourself, your candidacy, why are you pursuing the program, what it is that you hope to get out of the program, and how we and LMU can be a part of your success story. Letters of recommendation also vary by program. In some cases, they're fully optional. In other cases, we require up to 2 letters of recommendation. And then finally, the most important thing is our official transcripts and our proof of English proficiency. So we do ask that that you submit official transcripts as well as a transcript evaluation. That really helps us see the accreditation of your school. One of the questions that often comes up is, what if my bachelor's degree is a 3-year degree? That is completely fine as long as your evaluation says that it is the equivalent of a US bachelor's degree. And that's really why we need that evaluation. And then proof of English proficiency is completed in the form of a TOEFL score, an IELTS score, or a Duolingo score. Again, I share these with you as a sort of a brief overview. We'd love to engage with all of you to go through the application requirements and really assist you with it. Once you start the application, you will find one of our staff members work closely with you. And speaking of, I have 2 of our staff members' profiles up here to work with you. Emily Agnello, she's also on the call today. She's our Assistant Director of Graduate Recruitment. And Eunice Gonzalez, who works directly with our graduate engineering programs. They can both be of assistance to you. We've also put up a QR code here to guide you to learn a little bit more about our programs and connect with us. And this is the end of my presentation, Sabat. So I'm going to turn it back over to you and let me know when you'd like to stop share.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Dalal. You can stop sharing your screen now. That was very, very insightful. I'm sure everyone in the audience has benefited. We have quite a bit of questions coming in. So we have Dr. Dalal, we have Dr. Verrier, and we have Emily with us. I am just going to put the questions through, and whichever one of you wants to answer it can go forward with it. So some of these questions have come in earlier, and you have sort of covered a little bit of that in your presentations, but we'll just take it up again to, sort of reiterate the point. One very, very important question, which is on everyone's mind, is around scholarships. So we have a question from Richard, who's asking, are there any full scholarship opportunities which are available with LMU? And a couple of students who also want to know about specific scholarship opportunities. I know you did touch upon it a little bit, but just a little more detail can help these students.
Sure. So we have, in terms of our full scholarship opportunities, there's a very, very limited amount of those. I mentioned that we're a faith-based institution, so there are certain scholarships for members of the clergy that can be used. They're usually, 1 or 2 of those in an entire year, but they are available. And I think that's something we can talk to the specific student about to sort of address what's out there. We do have a ton of other scholarships, right? So I think I was trying to say that we have scholarships that range between, 5 to 7% of tuition, all the way up to 20% of tuition. Those are generally merit-based, and those are given out at the time of admission. So we do have those opportunities. And then finally, I would say one of the more underrated component of this is being able to find campus work. Our graduate students and specifically our international students are engaged in helping departments in a variety of areas. Some do it administratively with departments such as ours, but many of them work directly with faculty on research-based assistantships, in some cases, teaching fellowships. Those usually vary by year, but now that we're back from COVID, right, I can say that sort of confidently, we have a lot more of those opportunities on campus. And I couldn't think of a more exciting time to consider, being part of a campus community. So there are several opportunities in that regard.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Dalal. I'm sure that answers a lot of questions going on about scholarship. My next question, and I do know you did answer this, but again, to just sort of reiterate, Vivek wants to know, do you accept 3 years bachelor degree, BSc Physics, Chemistry, and Maths from India for a student who's looking to apply for an MS in Business Analytics?
The answer is yes. And as I was mentioning, this is where the evaluation comes into play. We get a lot of students from India. About 10 years or so ago, it wouldn't be the case that institutions across the US would accept a 3 years degree, but that has changed tremendously. So a 3-year bachelor's degree is completely fine. Again, as long as the evaluation supports the fact that it is the equivalent of a US bachelor's degree, we will accept it.
Great. Another question on similar lines from Isaac from Ghana, who wants to know, do you accept the the higher national diploma for students who are applying from Ghana and Nigeria?
I have to admit, I'm not well versed with it. Is the question asking whether we would consider a master's degree from Ghana in lieu of a bachelor's degree? Is that, am I
That's
reading that?
correct. Yeah.
Generally we need the bachelor's degree to make the decision, but I have seen instances in where, let's just say for some reason, the translated GPA fell under 3.0 for a bachelor's degree. A master's degree in that case would really help reiterate the fact that the student is able to come to our program and succeed in there. So in specific instances, it does work, but in general, it does not work in lieu of a bachelor's degree. I want to add, it's an and, not an or.
Okay, great. We have another question from Akipe who wants to know, what are the opportunities which are available for chemical engineers? Because when Dr. Verrier was presenting, the statistics did highlight about project data for chemical engineering, etc. So they just want to get an understanding of what are the sort of job opportunities which are available specifically for chemical engineers.
Audra, do you want me to take this, or would you like to take a stab at it?
Maybe we could both contribute. One of the things that is really beautiful about LinkedIn is that you can go to Loyola Marymount University, our page, and then look up our alumni. And so this would be a really great tool for you to find our alums, and you can just search by chemical engineering, and then you can see what types of jobs they hold. So chemical engineering is also a well-established industry in the US and in California. It's not as popular maybe as those sort of emerging trends. But if you look at our alums, you can see that many of them are chemical engineers, technicians. They go into a variety of different fields. They might be in civil engineering or manufacturing, in addition to healthcare or other industries. So there's a variety of job opportunities for chemical engineers as well.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, thank you. So the next set of questions is sort of revolving around the English proficiency tests, which you spoke about. A couple of people in the audience want to know that if they have studied from an English medium background, right, up till their bachelor's degree, do they still need to take these English proficiency tests like the TOEFL and the IELTS, or are they allowed to sort of apply without that from India and Africa?
So yes, so the answer is it really depends on the institution. And what I advise students to do is you go ahead and start the application and submit your transcripts, because that'll tell us a lot about if it is how the courses were taught. And in generally, yes, there is a waiver for TOEFL or IELTS in the instance where we can confirm that the student has completed a degree in an English-speaking medium. So what I would encourage students to do is not worry about that from an application perspective. The application remains open for you to complete everything. Let us know about your specific situation, submit your transcripts, and then ask the question. We will be able to answer that for you.
Great. The next lot of questions that I'm going to be sort of clubbing together and taking one by one is for those who are looking for a switch. So Abhishek wants to know that he has actually pursued a master's program in aerospace, his background is aeronautical engineering, and he is looking to pursue a master's program in aerospace or aviation field. Is that something which would be possible for him?
So Audra, go ahead.
Yeah, sure. So most of the folks that work in aerospace or aeronautical engineering have degrees that we have at our campus that are not necessarily called aerospace engineering. They might be a mechanical engineer, but they're doing jet propulsion testing at Boeing. So our degrees are really a solid foundation to build from in the aerospace industry.
Great. Okay. The next question is from Ibn Nazir, who wants to know, does the school assist in visa processing with details and documentation, issuance, if there is any sort of delay in their visas, etc.? Would that be something which someone from the university would be hand-holding the applicants with?
Absolutely. In addition to Emily and myself, we have a dedicated international admissions department, and our students are well connected with them. As soon as you complete an application, and I should say as soon as you get admitted, There's a whole set of steps that you will need to take in order to request an I-20 from us. And then as questions come up, we have several WhatsApp groups also, I should add, that help answer those questions. So we can answer those questions to you in a group setting, in an individual setting. We have dedicated advisors to work through that. And I'll also add that your application is valid for up to a year. So we recognize that sometimes there are visa issues. And while most of our programs start in the fall semester, international students do come in what we call the spring semester, which is in January. So that is absolutely an option as well.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you so much. There is someone in the audience who wants to know, do you all offer any joint programs? For example, a joint MBA along with the MS in electrical engineering, any sort of joint programs which are offered by LMU?
Yes, the answer is yes. We do have an MBA and MS combined degree between the College of Science and Engineering and the business school. I would love to share more information with the student and anyone else. Please connect with us. We do have dual degree programs as well.
Okay, great. There was another question. I know you did put the waiver codes, but someone is asking again if there is a specific waiver code. So if you could just repeat it, I will be putting it in the chat as well. But yeah,
it's SEED, SEED.
Great. Okay, the next question is from Vivek, who wants to know, does an MS in business analytics require coding skills, and do you require the student to have any kind of work experience, or are freshers also eligible to apply?
Yeah, no prior experience is necessarily required. So it's something that, I'm sorry, my kids are here too. For those of you that have kids will recognize. Emily, why don't you take this question from me?
Sorry about that.
No, go ahead.
No, for the program, you don't have to have any coding experience. They really just look for a background and a passion for it. I think a big thing about all of our programs is as long as you have, the baseline skills and classes, they really just want you to be able to come into the program passionate and ready to learn and ready to grow in that area. So you don't need to have any of that experience prior.
Okay, great. Now, a couple of other program-related questions. We just have one which sort of popped in about, they would like to know if you do offer a PhD in civil engineering, and are there any fully funded PhD programs which are offered by LMU?
So I'll take this. LMU does not offer a PhD program. Our only doctorate program is in the education field. Certainly something that our students can engage with. What I will say that a lot of our students that go through our master's programs do go on to getting PhDs, and sometimes, and in many cases, it serves as a bridge to a PhD as well. So we have seen instances of where students have completed, in this case, a civil engineering degree with us and gone on to being successful in a PhD program.
Okay, the next question is from someone who wants to know, the 3.0 GPA requirement, is that on a scale of 4 or 5?
Correct, it's on a scale of 4.
It's on a scale of 4, great. And we do have some questions from people who are going to apply in 2025 and want to know if the waiver code would still be applicable at that time.
It absolutely will be, yes.
All right, great. Okay, can you go into a little bit detail about your 4+1 program?
Yes, sure. So the 4+1 programs are generally offered to our undergraduate students. So when undergraduate students go through typically a 4-year degree, they have the ability to take a few master's level courses in the last year of their program. And that helps them reduce the time that they would be in the master's program. So I think I mentioned that there are 10 courses. Our undergraduate students that are in a 4+1 typically complete somewhere between 2 to 3 courses during their undergraduate course of study, and they move on to completing a master's degree.
Great. I hope that answers your question, Siddharth. The next question is by someone who wants to know if there are any master's programs for agriculture and biosystems engineering that LMU offers.
There is not a specific program in that regard, but I think, as I mentioned, with civil engineering, there's a wide variety of options that get at the heart of that. And what we're seeing now is this need for cross training and cross skills across different areas, right? And I think I would just say generally, we are very focused on sustainability, just mostly as an institution mission, but we also have faculty capability to address all of the issues, even in the agricultural field as well.
Okay, great. Someone in the audience also wants to know, for applying to a master's program in LMU, does it really matter where exactly, any specific institute that they have completed their bachelor's degree from, or is it an open for all kind of platform?
The only thing I would say is we require that institution to have the same level of accreditation that we typically require a US institution. And we have, so I would say in that regard, again, and this goes back to the evaluation itself, we are a regionally accredited institution, as are most top-tier institutions in the United States. So as long as the undergraduate institution has a similar a profile, again, based on the evaluation, it does not matter where you went.
Great. Our next question is from Elizabeth, who wants to know a little bit more about your exchange programs. Before you answer that, very quickly, audience, we have come to the end of the session, but I'm going to take the last two questions very quickly. So if you could, any one of you could quickly talk a little bit about your exchange programs, that would be helpful.
Audra, is this something you want to share, or do you want me to take it? Okay, I will take it. I will also say that, yes, we are on time because my kids are in the background, so I apologize. But yeah, we do have several study abroad opportunities as well as exchange opportunities. They're really driven by the program. What I would encourage these students to do is engage with us, and we'll connect them with the right faculty to really explore what their actual need is and what their goals are with that. A lot of our programs are set throughout the year. Some come up as a result of student, voicing of their opinions and wanting to indulge in a particular experience. So those are absolutely opportunities that are out here.
Okay, great. We have another question from David, who wants to know if there are any postgraduate scholarship programs in the maritime sector, preferably marine engineering or nautical sciences.
I think my answer there would be the same as what I initially indicated, our civil engineering program and our environmental science program. I would encourage the student to take a closer look at those, and I think you'll find a lot of the elements of what you're looking for.
And there are many opportunities across the state of California for those areas.
That's right.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. I think with this, we come to the end of today's session. I know there are still a few questions which are in the Q&A box. A lot of it has been answered by our wonderful panelists here tonight. So thank you everyone for tuning in. We will be posting this link shortly on YouTube as well by tomorrow, and sending out links for those of you who missed or didn't get a chance to catch up on any of the questions which were answered. The recording will be available to you. I would like to once again thank Dr. Verrier, Dr. Dalal, and Emily for joining us today and answering all of our questions and queries. To all of those present in the audience, thank you for being such a wonderful audience. I hope you really enjoyed the session, and no matter where you're based, you are all hopefully going to be California dreaming tonight. Thank you very much.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Have
bye.
a great one.
You too. Bye.